He is a product designer who blends deep research with data-driven insights to craft designs that are not only beautiful and intuitive, but also highly effective. He creates immersive, user-centered experiences that seamlessly align with business goals, delivering interfaces that users love and businesses thrive on, transforming research into stunning, intuitive designs that drive user engagement and business success. He has about 5 years of experience in product design, working from the city of Lagos, Nigeria, and has worked across different big tech giants in Africa. We're thrilled to welcome our guest to this exciting episode of the series.
All right, Deji, thanks so much for joining. Can you actually tell us what has helped, probably while you were growing up, as regards how you've been able to make a whole lot of, um, can I say, leap in your design career?
Okay. Um, so that question it sounds short, but it's a very long question. It's a very long one. So I'm trying to see how
Yeah,
best to not elongate the journey because, like you mentioned, it's been over 4 years now, going to 5 years, right, of product design
yeah,
journey, and I can still vividly remember Pexel's class, and that was our initial point of conversation. Shout out to Fiwa
yeah,
and the
yeah,
gang.
yeah.
Right. That was our introduction to product design. Since that period, it's been a lot of L's and a lot of W's, right? And what has helped, I would I would say it's um, obsession is not a healthy word to use at the end of the day, right? But I would say it's healthy
Mhm.
curiosity. I started off as a graphic designer, basically, and doing graphic design, I was already earning a few cents on the dollars here and there. And then found out product design, and it was just curiosity. You know, I do graphic design, and I learned from one of the best graphic designers I have ever found. Till now, till date, I learned from one of the very best that I've ever found. And so I was progressing on that end. I was already designing for certain churches, mainstream churches, back then in my service state. So for those that are in Nigeria or outside Nigeria, there's something that we call NYSC, where your country posts you to a state to go and serve the nation. So I was posted to one state where I met him, and I was already designing for some of the churches there. I was getting private contracts also. And it was from there that I found out product design. It was just an art. And I'm like, I already do graphic design. What the heck is product design? So it was the curiosity that made me go in. And fun fact, I don't like telling this story without telling a side story to it because I didn't have the money to pay for the product design class. So that's essentially the journey. It's just curiosity, um, the ability to want to find out what else is more. There is more in this. What is more that I can get
Yeah.
in this, right? So I can confidently say that I have touched a couple of tech spaces or used technological
Mhm.
frameworks since then. I've written codes. I've done. I've beaten the cake of cybersecurity. I say it was not for me, so I ran away. Um, I've written backend.
So
I've
can
written
I
front
can I
end.
ask
So
you at that point?
yeah.
What's the motivation? What's the motivation for you to go and learn code when you are already building a product design career? I'm asking it this for someone out there, right, who happens to be maybe a junior designer at this point, and it's looking like, okay, maybe I want to maybe I should go and learn code, maybe to make more money. Maybe, right? So, what was the motivation for you, and what now made you stick to product design? Can you just like let us know?
So my 9 to 5, I'm a product designer, and on the side, I like to explore. So this is, like I said, what you asked is a very long question, even though it sounded short. So I would have to take a lot of detours. Are you okay with that? Are you fine with that? Okay. So if you're okay with that, let me just go ahead and take my detour. So, like I said, my name is Deji, right? There are a lot of things that I do. I wear many caps. If you knew me before product design space, you know I'm a musician, right? I am a low budget singer, but I'm primarily a drummer, right? I play the drums, I do music, um, I do public speaking, I teach, I have my hands in a lot of pies, and that's just the truth. And it may look like it's chaotic. Let me even just give you this backstory now. When I was with one of the biggest banks in Nigeria, that was also when I got my MBA. So I was running a full-time gig and I was studying on the side and I was still in my music. So it's for me, it's a thing of I have a very, very busy mind. My mind is I don't know, maybe I'll take a tour in there myself because I'm here to explore it to the full and for my mind is a very, very busy mind. I I'm very curious. I want to know how certain things work. So how I got into code was when I was with the bank, because I used to design for one of the biggest banks in Nigeria. I I was like the fourth designer they hired, and then one thing I noticed about all the designers I met there was they all had understanding of how the front end works. And when I got into the bank, I didn't really know so much about APIs or the banking system. So it was a lot of learning curve. And I realized that, oh, okay. So this is the idea behind the banking system, API calls, it's calling nibs and all of that. And then how it works on the front end. And I'll see these guys design and then they'll go and tell the front end person, no, this component wasn't properly done and all of that. And the front end guy may be arguing with them and they will enter the code base and they are saying, look at it, use the padding of this. I use this one here. Use the spacing of this. I use this one here. And I'm like, okay, so this is, you can tell a front end guy that, okay, you didn't really do my job well. Right. So, and sometimes if you don't understand what's going on, they can bubble you, they can lie to you. So I said, okay, let me start learning. So I started with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Before I touched a bit on Angular, right? Um, then I started doing a couple of things. I built about 2 projects, right? Before I said, okay, I understand how this works now. At least now when I'm speaking with front-end developers, I can speak their terminology. They can understand where I'm coming from. So that was the major reason. I did backend for a little bit, Python, just a little bit. It was just to understand what API calls and all of that. Just to, like I said, I'm a very curious mind. It's just to gain understanding as regards what other technologies are existing outside of Figma. By the way, I also do a bit of cloud. Now, now before you say that this guy is just jumping everywhere, like I said, it's a bit tough. It's a bit tough. It's just so that I can understand, when they say, the server has crashed, in mind I'm like, what server? So it's just me need to understand what's really, really going on. So I can safely say that I can give you at least a decent understanding of how that ecosystem works, right? What happens, and then it just gives you that understanding and base and that confidence to be able to communicate even the decisions behind your design ideas, right? because sometimes you design certain things and then they will tell you this is not possible. But because you understand how the technology works, some things are not possible or they are harder on Angular. They're very simple on React because of the libraries that exist. You can tell them, okay, let's go this direction, let's go that direction. So it's just, for me, it's a thing of curiosity. I just have a very, very busy mind. A very, very busy mind. That's it.
Awesome. Wow. Thank you. Thank you very much. So we can say, okay, Deji, you presently work with, reputable institutions in Nigeria and even in Africa right now. I know your journey within the space of 4 to 5 years of your career. You've actually worked with top, can I say topmost institutions, basically. Can you tell us what you've done differently or what you think you've done differently that have helped you work with these organizations compared to those that you started designing together? Can you tell us what are the things that you did that someone that is seeing this, a junior designer that is seeing this, can learn from, or someone that is just, just tired of doing a whole lot of things, trying a whole lot of things, and looking at, working with reputable institutions as well? Can you just like let us know what you've done differently?
Okay. So everything that I see right now manifested all started from my belief system. Um, there is no way I I will talk about my journey as a product designer working with some of the top giants like you've mentioned. I have worked with companies that have raised about 120 million US dollars, right? I wouldn't have done all of those without the wisdom of God. So foundationally, right, God is at the center. I have to put that out there because it's just the truth. That's the truth. God is at the center. God gives wisdom for you to be able to take practical steps. So with God in the picture, because some people say that put God aside. No, with God in the picture, these are the things that I did. Right. I I had a community outside product design uh, classes. Um there was Samuel Akitunde there. There was Damilari Axel. I don't know if you remember Axel. There was Midi. I don't know if you also remember Midi. There was, I think, Tosmi. She's a lady. She's also working with one very huge startup right now. And truth is, for every one of us that we were in that secular space, I think everybody right now is is in is in great spaces, right? And that's one of my joys, that people that we started the journey together are making huge progress and advancing together, right? But it doesn't mean that it's everyone that went through that system that became top guys. I mean, there are those that have attained so much height that I barely can reach them now, right? And there are those that just got lost in the whole pool of the thing. Some even changed careers, some jackpot and then change, went to school, we didn't get product design again. But for me, for our community as a then, we challenged ourselves outside of the regular classes. I remember very clearly because I think a couple of us, about 5 or 6 of us, Ayotain, yeah, 5 or 6 of us, we came together and we said, okay, for every day, we must at least churn out a design latest by 6 p.m. Anyone that has not done a design by 6 p.m. is going to pay every other person, a certain amount of money. Now, you are just learning product design. You've not made money. And you know that you're going to be in debt to about 6 other guys if you don't finish up a design before 6 p.m. in the day. right? And with the situation of the country, there might not be lights. I would carry the PC to my neighbor's house. I would stay there. I would design. Uh, that's my landlady, sir, not even my neighbor. I would stay there. I would design till maybe like. So what I even used to do then was I would design for about 3 days at a stretch, right? Because I don't know when light is going to come. My lights in the country is not band A, but then it wasn't band A, it wasn't band. It was like band extinction. We're bandits. So I had to use a generator that she puts on, and then I'll design for like 3 days. So I might be coming back to the house to sleep around to 12, right? That's for midnight, and I would have been gone since morning. Then it was a steep learning curve. We didn't know the UX laws, we didn't know accessibility, we didn't know the basics of WCAG, we didn't know any of these things. We were just interested in replicating designs. We saw this design, we liked how it looked, but something was missing. Let's do the redesign and add what we feel is missing and check out the experiences. It was such a a deep learning curve, right? We understood the tools, we did research to understand the users, you know, and it's because there was pressure on everybody. You don't have money to pay anybody, so the pressure you're going to put that pressure on yourself to become the very best at you, the very best version of you as at that moment, right? That's my one of my policies in life. Am I doing the best that I can do with what I have and with where I am, right? You can give yourself excuses. There's a lot of excuses everywhere. I mean, the country is already an excuse alone. You can see your mental health because of where the country is going is enough to keep you down. You can give yourself excuses, but there was no excuse for me at that point in time. I mean, I was coming from a course that I know that I studied in university that my seniors already told that there was no future in it, right? So I knew that I had to look for a career path that was going to be sustainable. So it was just the pressure I had on me. Some people are very comfortable where they are. That's fine. There's no issue with that. But for me, it was the pressure. So I made sure that if I'm not motivating myself, I have people that will place me under that pressure to make sure I become productive and and do great work. And I was just churning out work day after day, day after day, day after day, till somebody saw my work in a Telegram group. And then, yes, I used to post my jobs a lot on Twitter, post them on some design groups on Telegram, post them on WhatsApp, post them on my status, Facebook, everywhere. I was just posting. As soon as we finished designing, we put our name as a label on that and start posting. And then I just got a message from somebody in London, Daniel. He owned a digital design agency. He said, he loved what I did. Then it wasn't the product design I did. Though. It was a branding I did, full branding for a bank. Funny enough, I don't know why it's me and banks since all these years. Um, for a bank, King Bank, and then he said he loved my presentation and all of that. That would I be ready to pick up a job with an agency? I said yes, of course I would. So at this time, I already got an internship where they were giving us money for just data. Right, it was an agency in Lagos. So we're doing research work. I was just pouring in the work. That was why I met Tosmi. And then I said, of course, I'll do the work. And then he said, okay, do I know what is called UI UX? I said, okay, we set a call, and I showed him the works I've been doing. Right? He was like, wow, I'm impressed. So I didn't just do branding for the agency. I was also doing product design, where I worked on some crazy applications, websites. And that's when I got my first foreign currency from. And when I got the first pay, the first thing I bought was a generator. Sorry for another day, though. But yeah, I think I've answered the question. I think.
Thank you very much. I think one thing that I actually pick from all that you've mentioned is the fact that the the ability to can I say the quest for more, and the ability to keep consistently pushing yourself out there and going for what you want, right? I think that's like what stood out for me as well, right? Like going for what you want, like I want this. How am I going to get there? How am I going to get this? And then you put in the work, set your mind at it, and then at the end of the day, the rest is history. I think it's something very, very powerful that everyone needs to learn from this your story. Okay, so I would love to ask you again, DJ. I've heard a whole lot of, let me say, people either in tech, in any space in tech, maybe we have someone that is seeing this particular recording that's not a designer operating in tech generally, and it looks like the tech space is really saturated, and there is really like no or little hope for anybody that is just starting, right? Or maybe you don't even have a background. Someone like me, I don't have a background in design, so most of the time when I tell people my story, I would just be like, "Oh, I really know how to graphic design. I was interested in this, went for it, and the rest is history." So I
Mhm.
just wanted to ask you: do you think that the tech space is oversaturated right now? Then maybe we can now link it down to the product design space. Do you think we have just enough product designers that it's not something to sit down and say you want to build a career in, after studying maybe in the university thereabouts, right? So I just wanted to hear your take, and let us get what you think about the tech space being oversaturated with a whole lot of developers and software engineers, designers, and maybe all of them have even filled all of those top complaints, right? So we'd love to hear your take on that.
So here's my thoughts about it. There is a concept in business called the blue ocean and the red ocean, right? And this is where I tend to apply it in my own space. Because you are in a particular career field, there's what we call a bubble. You are in a bubble, right? If I say, look out for a red car in your day, it would look as if every car you are seeing is a red car. You would begin to notice more red cars than there are other cars, right? So because you're in the bubble of the tech space, your conversations will most likely be with tech guys. You'll be seeing a lot of product designers. You'll be seeing a lot of front-end engineers, a lot of back-end engineers, a lot of you'll be seeing a lot of them. That's just the way it works. I can tell you for a fact, you and I know a company that has not filled their product design role for months now, right? I know of another company that has been looking for a product researcher, a UX person, for almost 3 months now, to the point they are offering incentives for somebody to just refer a very good UX person to us. We pay you 500K just for referral. you know, I don't think the there is ever going to be what we call saturation. In the middle of all the saturation, you will see that some of the best hands are even rejecting jobs. I know of a guy that kept on rejecting jobs. He said he has too much on his hands. My the person I consider my tech mentor in terms of career, his name is Mr. Tosin. I call him Ancestor. So Ancestor as at right now, right? He started. I think his core tech career started in 2021, 2021. And I can tell you right now, as it stands in this country, I don't think I've met a better backend engineer. His companies are not 90. In fact, he rejects Nigerian jobs. Now, the question is, have you built yourself to a space and a point where your value cannot be denied. Are you really putting yourself out there to be the best that you can be for the spaces you are in? That is the real question. It's not a question of whether there are jobs or not. I'm not the best product designer, right? When I did my interview for the job I'm in presently, I didn't send Behance link. I didn't send whatever. I sent a Figma file, right? And they saw what I had done, set up a mini test, did the test, and then we had a conversation on the call. Explain your thought process, and it was a breeze. And they were already like, okay, when you resume, we'll do this, we'll do that. And in my mind, I'm like, is the value proposition that you're bringing to the table? What value are you communicating? That is the real question. And you cannot communicate value if you are not valuable. So as a designer, what value do you bring to the table? What will the addition of you to their team do? Because a lot of us will think that, oh, it's about redesign. Once I join the team, redesign the old dashboard. Newsflash is not gonna happen. If it does, yeah, the 10%, 90% of the time, it's not gonna happen. Right? So it's a question of communicating value. Are you valuable enough for us to need you? There are some people that are in spaces, if they fire everybody, they cannot go anywhere. So I think that would be my answer to that question. So it's a thing of value. Once you are valuable, you are going to get the jobs. Like I said, I know people rejecting jobs. I have a senior colleague in product design space. This guy presently does about 3 or 4 jobs, and he does them effortlessly. Yes, his night will suffer, he will drink coffee, but different time zones, different places. So yeah, there are jobs.